What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
I'm Brock. We're once again joined by Jeff Manning, whoever that is.
What's going on?
Hello, sir. Tonight, we're going to finish up Civil War 2099 with Metalhead and the updated Alpha Force.
There we go.
So, yeah, final two cards for this set. Where should we begin?
Well, let's start off with Metalhead. We'll leave the big man for the feature at the end.
All right, so we got Metalhead, the twin brother of Dregs.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird story. It really is.
Yeah,
They kind of force the feud on you.
And I think they're fraternal twins because they don't look anything alike. Fraternal? Yeah.
probably. Yeah, this is Metalhead. Solid tag guy, for sure.
Yeah, he is.
Typical hairband kind of fella.
Mm-hmm. He's a metalhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the drawing.
It's one of the better Bendis ones. They actually used this in the ad for a while on PWI, if I remember correctly.
I always wondered if Bendis watched Van Hammer wrestle, and that's where you get the
I
Probably
think
not.
uh I think Vlad Hammer looks more like Van Hammer than Metalhead does.
Van Hammer, an underrated talent.
All right, let's get
did
the
did uh
Metalhead.
did you ever use him, Brock?
I,
That's always a good relevant question when
I
talking to
used
Brock.
him. I used him. He did well. I don't remember any title or anything like that, but just remember them doing well together. Him and old what's his name?
Grunge?
Grunge. Yes, Grunge.
Yeah, Grunge actually came first though, so
He did.
he had already scouted and knew the situation of the Federation. Generation X was a cool name too. I mean, this is before D Generation X was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, he did you
Do you have
want to
his
do his profile?
I was just gonna ask you to
I
read
was
it.
Yeah, he was a
It's my
member of Entropy, manager Doomsayer, tag team Generation X with Grunge, made feud Dregs and Mace, finishers. In singles competition, Metalhead uses a move called the Metalhead Mauler. When an opponent is face down on the mat, the back of the opponent's head. Wait, hold on, I just skipped a line. When the opponent is face down on the mat, Metalhead propels himself off the ropes and sends a flying knee to the back of the opponent's head. In
ouch.
tag matches with Grunge, Metalhead uses a finisher called the Sound of Music, which, if you've ever seen the movie, does not sound very threatening. Uh, while Metalhead distracts the referee inside the ring, Grunge grabs a guitar and smashes the opponent on the head with it. Of course, this move's illegal, but Metalhead and Grunge only need a few seconds of distraction to pull it off. The Sound of Music is a roll finisher. The effectiveness of the disgustingly illegal move depends on how clear a shot Grunge gets with the guitar. Rumor has it that Grunge spends more time practicing swinging his guitar than on wrestling moves. If the role is, it has a gap there in the book, and it says if the role is, and then it's just blank. But
Uh-oh.
then it says, then assume the referee turns around in time, sees the guitar, and disqualifies Grunge and Metalhead.
I'm gonna
Uh,
guess six because it says tag six equals disqualification.
yeah. His actual background, Dregs has been wondering for 5 years what happened to his twin brother back on Max's. He's about to find out. Dregs and Metalhead took opposing sides in the carnage and confusion that followed the Aetherin attack on Maxis. Dregs became separated from his twin brother and became, with Mace, a champion of justice. Metalhead, however, became discouraged and disgusted. He joined a gang of misfits, hedonists, and dropouts. Hedonists? I've never actually heard that
Hedonist.
word. Whatever you say, boss. That's maybe a Canadian word. We'll get to that in a second. In 2097, Metalhead met Grunge, and the two men established themselves as street fighters and brawlers. When Metalhead heard that Dregs was in the GDF, he decided to make a surprise visit. Dregs
Ooh.
represents everything Metalhead hates. Dregs is popular, works hard, and plays by the rules most of the time. Metalhead, perhaps jealous of his twin brother, has given up on the good things in life. Where Proteus playfully enjoyed his life of wine, women, and song, Metalhead is more interested in sex and drugs and rock and roll.
Yeah.
But he and Grunge have taken it all too far. Grunge is the offensive powerhouse of Generation X, though he cares little for actual wrestling moves. He has plenty of street experience for the brawling style he prefers. Metalhead, on the other hand, is as talented as and agile as his brother Dregs, except that his work habits are atrocious. For the first time in GWF history, the New Order versus Generation X feud will pit brother versus brother. This one could be intense.
That's gotta be Kane.
It's gotta be Metalhead.
Yeah.
All right, so first I want to revisit the hedonist. What are we doing here?
Hedonist.
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 I'm
It's like
I'm gonna
another
need a
word for
definition.
debauchery, I think.
Yeah.
Am I,
Oh,
am I right?
Yep.
All right.
that's creative. I've never actually heard that terminology.
I'm not sure where it comes from, but
It's probably Greek.
Don't send me
probably.
down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. GetOutTheSARS.com.
I'll be back in a minute, folks. No, I mean it's a good story. I liked Generation X. I liked their attitude and stuff to write as a storyline.
Hmm.
And they did have a tag title run for me, however brief. It was only 1 month long. They interrupted the Gladiators' 308-day title reign, won
Wow.
it from August to September in 2099, and then dropped it back to the Gladiators, who had their tenth and final championship run before they retired. They retired with the titles uh, after 119 days. I
Cool.
think they retired. Maybe they didn't retire with the titles because they actually had a year crossover with Vanguard, didn't they?
I
Yeah,
think
where
They
so.
they
didn't
feuded.
retire till 2101
Yeah.
officially, so it was 2100, January 2100. They dropped the titles to the Mercenaries. So yeah, I mean they have a moment in my history though, being the last team to take the titles off Gladiators next to the Mercenaries. So had to be a guitar shot. I don't remember. I don't have the results in front of me, but I'm guaranteeing it was a guitar shot.
I'm surprised it doesn't have a limit on how many times you can use it.
Well, you think it after once. I mean,
Hmm. The guitar,
it's gone.
he brings a whole bunch.
I figured it's not a no, it's not flimsy.
It's not a prop guitar.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a roadie, someone that brings him one breaks.
It's a possibility.
Grabs one from the fans.
Oh yeah, fake plays it like New Jack.
No, for me, they're currently not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5-time Intergalaxian Tag Team
Five
Champions.
time, 5 time, 5 time.
5 times. 5 times.
That's a lot.
Intergalaxian Tag Team Champions. They come in and they started off, pretty smooth. Uh, they ended up getting into a feud against Antak and Son of Ram and just crushed them. And then they went against Dregs and Mace. I had to build that feud up.
Hmm.
And to build it up, I had a loser leaves the GWF match. And Grunge lost. So they got sent down to the NGA when it broke up. And now they've worked their way back up, so they're back in the GWF. So they're going to come back for a rematch.
How long was the banishment for?
It, it they were just kicked out, so in other words, they would have to earn their way back up. So it could be, it took them 3 years to get back in. Well, 2 years to get
I
back in.
didn't know if there was a relegation period or a promotion period.
No, no, they just got booted and had to work their way back up.
The inner workings of your federation are still a mystery to me.
Yeah, but it was interesting because when they were in the NGA, they ended up feuding KO Keller and Billy Joe Boxer,
The greatest wrestler of all time.
who I called Fight Club. Jeff just shaking it. You've trashed the GWF history.
I have nothing to say here. Antax, Son of Ram, then to New Order, and then to KO Keller and Billy Joe Boxer. This doesn't even exist to me. You are in your multiverse.
It's up to you, promoter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to him apparently. But at least they're not lost in the shuffle.
True.
No,
It's true.
100%. And I had him coming in at 6'1", 210 pounds.
I already navigated away from that. Hold on.
I thought Jeff had
Calling
the
you
book
out.
open.
I have the book, but the book actually doesn't list heights and
Oh, okay.
weights.
6 foot, 234 pounds.
We're close. Yeah, no, I got, yeah, oh no, sorry. Yeah, 6', 210. So yeah, I had the height right.
You got to give him a little bulk. You're giving him enough credit underneath that leather jacket.
It's hard to
And he
tell with
did
the
injure
headshot.
11 people so far in
It's
his
that
career.
guitar.
Yeah.
He doesn't use the guitar. Grunge does.
Oh, Grunge uses it, but
He's the distraction.
Whatever it takes.
He'd be a great wrestler if it wasn't for his atrocious work ethic.
Yeah. Wasn't
Who
such a
knew?
lazy good for
It's
nothing.
it's so much fun to go back and read the books. I read them initially when I play the years, and I don't go back and read them like ever again. So it's
Hmm.
like the things you missed because you just kind of. I mean, I read it, but I
yeah,
kind
you,
of
you,
skim it
you
when I'm
skim
going
some of
through.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you just blatantly forget it. Like I read it.
Right.
How would you power creep Metalhead?
Are we
So
power creeping him as a tag, or are we power creeping him as a singles?
overall, I'm going to change his ring from a C to a B. If he's a brawler, he should have a better ring rating.
I was going to do the same thing, especially if you grew up on the mean streets of wherever he grew up in,
Maxis.
Maxis.
Maxis, which is in the middle of a big kind of civil war type thing.
Which, I don't understand the whole storyline of him reacting differently than Dregs. Dregs was like the voice of justice. He wasn't really the voice of injustice. You think that the opposite of justice would be him like joining the Aetherans or something, being a turncoat.
Sympathizer.
Yeah. But anyway, no,
He just doesn't have
I
that
think
work ethic.
he doesn't.
He's just a
He doesn't.
loser.
Aetherans didn't want him either. He belongs with Doomsayer.
All those
No, I'd I'd
misfits,
I'd, I'd move his
hedonists.
ring to a B. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be moving that ring to a B. Not quite an A because, like you said, he didn't work out enough. Slacked off a little.
You could have been a contender.
Which is a shame because he's a natural athlete, just like his brother.
Yeah.
Nope.
He just didn't want to put in that little bit of effort, bump him up to an A.
Poor metalhead.
Yeah. He's such a sleaze.
Not yet.
Not yet. You're right. I'm getting ahead of myself.
With that, I think we could probably slide over to Alpha Force's second card.
There he is.
I
Alpha
really do not
Force.
like this drawing.
You don't like the shading or what?
I don't like the face. I don't like the fact that he's doing some weird claw thing with his hand.
Maybe he's fighting for his right to party.
He is.
Maybe he's got the Alpha Stone in his hands.
He's hiding it. It's a magic trick. It was a pretty significant downgrade for him.
It was.
Yeah, but he was still, I mean, for that time period, was still top tier.
Yeah.
He wasn't dominant anymore, but he could still win some big matches.
Yeah, I mean, he's still pretty tough, but
But yeah,
one
he's
down on
definitely
his card.
not the focal point anymore.
Mm-mm.
No, he
And he's
did.
not even feuding at that point with the big man like Chaos. He had dropped down to feuding with Matador, who's no disrespect to Matador. He's my favorite character all time, but he was the sidekick to Chaos for the greater part of his GWF existence.
Let's see, 5.
He only has one down on his card with a leave option. Do you want to read his bio for this year, Jeffrey?
Sure. That's what I'm here for, fellas.
We don't know how to read.
Yeah.
or where our
I
books
didn't.
are.
Well, you don't know how to read. You lose everything in the shuffle, and Mike would add an A at the end of everything, and that just takes too long. Uh, no, Alpha Force is on the Champions of the Galaxy, Manager Omega, main feud Matador of M83. His finisher, since Alpha Force has lost the power to use the Ultimate Force, he's developed two new finishers. First is an offensive move that he has perfected called the Alpha Strike. The move is basically the Ultimate Force without the Alpha power to give it its extra bang. Then there's a move that will be familiar to GWF watchers, the Tomahawk Thrust. Alpha Force has worked hard with his father Omega to make the Tomahawk Thrust a finisher to be feared once again. His background here, it's a little shorter because he's a character we're familiar with. It says, last year it became clear that there was something wrong with Alpha Force. After talking with doctors across the galaxy, Omega and Alpha Force found out that the physical problems he was having were the result of the gradual loss of his Alpha power.
Wow.
Remember, Alpha Force originally learned to harness the Alpha Stone power in Dimension X. Since his departure from Dimension X in 2093, the Alpha power has become less and less stable. Now it's completely gone. Does the loss of the source of his awesome finisher and much of his power mean the end of Alpha Force's wrestling career? No way. The answer immediately for us. Not a son of Omega. While others might retire to avoid the possible humiliation of a decline in ability, Alpha Force is out to prove that he can be as effective as a fighter even without the Alpha power. Chaos and the Matador of M83 are laughing out loud about how they are going to push Alpha Force around in the ring. They see Alpha Force as a permanently weak and inferior opponent. Alpha Force is in the gym working harder than ever to survive this transition. Can the Matador and Chaos be right? Is Alpha Force going to be a pushover? Or will he prove to be a fighting hero that legends are made of?
Just imagine if he had taken young Metalhead under his wing and taken him to the gym with him.
He wouldn't have became a sleaze. Who knows what he did when it came?
That'd be a good what if card. What if
Yeah,
what if
maybe
Metalhead was gym buddies with Alpha Force?
takes him under his wing. I
Form
mean,
a
like I
dominant,
said,
form a
he got
dominant tag team.
Yeah.
he got downgraded, but he was still good, and he
Yeah.
actually, even after this card, captured my title. Now he's only captured it once. It was for a 3 month period, taking it from Chaos and losing it back to Chaos 3 months later. But he was still always towards the top of the card.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm looking at his card now. I was just looking at his raw rating. It dropped by like 10 points, 15
Yeah, but
points.
when you have a double +5 finisher, it's really tough.
Yeah, you're right. There's only one way to go from there is down.
Let's go to double +6 finish.
Right.
How are you going to power creep that now? It's I mean, I got to be honest though, the Alpha Force character, he never got to me like the Star Wars character did.
I'm the
You
same. I
know,
kind of felt like
he,
he was like the less cool older brother.
yeah, I mean, he was really good, but it was hard to get behind him.
Hmm. Because he had that
You ever see the
stone.
movie Weird Science?
Hmm.
Yes, but it's been a long time, but yes.
He's Bill Pullman.
Okay. Bill Pullman, he achieved a lot.
He did.
Um, I mean, so he's a 6 time champion for me, 882 days, but only one of those came after this card. So he's the third all time for most days as the champion behind Omega and Thantos for me.
Huh.
Wow.
But
That's
he
impressive.
just, yeah, but he just didn't do it for me. His brother Star Warrior was a 10 time champion. He didn't hold it anywhere near the amount of days. Star Warrior's average title reign was only 59 days. Alpha Forces was about 147 days for 6 reigns.
Wow.
But it just, I don't know. He was like dominant. So to me, I equate him to I don't know how familiar you are with the WWF eras. He's kind of like the new generation era, the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels
Diesel.
era. Like in between the Hulk Hogan era and the Stone Cold era was this era that it was there. And going back, I appreciate especially some of the matches,
Hmm.
but I wasn't really at the time into it.
So he
And
was
it was probably
Diesel.
the point in my life too. Yeah, he's successful and he's always going to be a part of my history, but I never got behind him.
It was because of his ponytail.
Yeah.
That was what did it. I just wanted to chop it off.
It's like in the mid '90s when DC gave Superman a ponytail to make him cool.
Yeah, and a mullet.
And
Yeah.
still nobody could tell who it was Clark Kent.
Well, Clark, you got a mullet too.
Did you grow yours out to be like Superman?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Alpha Force with the losing his alpha powers. That we eventually find out. Spoiler alert: there was none.
It was all in his head.
It kind of just completely destroys the whole story. Like he
Um,
didn't lose anything. He just came right to his senses. He became sane again.
I can honestly say I didn't do the "it's in your head" storyline. I made it real.
Look, color me shocked.
Yeah, and I know more than a few people that did that. They didn't like the "oh, it's just in your head."
Well, it's hard to explain the whole Alpha Force and Chaos thing without the stone,
Yeah,
you know?
it's true.
And it makes them seem weaker. Like, oh, they bought into something that wasn't real. They're like almost members of the same cult.
Did you guys see Space Jam?
Which one? The original or
The
the
original
LeBron
Mike
one?
MJ's secret stuff that they get in the second
Oh,
half.
yeah. It's just water. That's a good point, Brock. I
Just like
appreciate that.
I'm glad I could contribute.
Even though I lost Alpha Force in the shuffle somehow.
I never got
Tell me,
behind him. He
tell
got
me
two
he
more
wasn't
cards
lost in your
after this
shuffle
one.
though.
No, he
He
really
wasn't
wasn't,
lost in your
but
shuffle, right?
So
no.
this card captured my intergalactic singles, and that's it. Now he's still done well. I had one because I have three fed, so I tried to make a traveling champion, so a guy who traveled, you know, between promotions, and he did hold. And I didn't run it long, but he held it. He was the first guy to hold it, and then he three-time GWF champion, two-time GWF War Games, and now my intergalactic singles. He just hasn't won titles.
Yeah.
When this first happened, he fought Exo King and he fought him to a draw. That's how big of a drop it was. He was fighting Chaos and then goes against Exo King and just draw in the feud.
He should have murdered Exo King.
Yeah.
To be fair, Alpha Force, not to go back to that, but it looks like according to my Hall of Fame ratings, he'll be the Hall of Fame inductee in my Fed in 2101. He'll be joining the ranks of Omega, Thantos, and Star Wars as the fourth singles competitor in there.
It's fair.
When does he retire?
I
It's a
don't
way.
care about retiring as far as
Oh,
the Hall of Fame though. I
okay.
do that. I do my Hall of Fame as the most deserved, whether they're a champion or not. I feel like that in wrestling that almost adds to their allure. Like already a Hall of Famer and I'm still wrestling. Kind of
Like
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 when
Rey
guys like
Mysterio.
Edge came back or Rey Mysterio. Yeah, like perfect examples. Like all the new guys are gonna want to beat him because he's a Hall of Famer.
Hmm. He hung around till 2109. He gets
Yeah,
two
that's
more
what I thought.
cards
I didn't
after
think he
this one.
retired in 2101. That's why I was like, what do you?
No, that well, my Hall of Fame. I don't play by baseball rules here. It's just the most deserving. There's been several guys. I mean, like I said, Thanos and Star Warrior in the Hall of Fame. They're both still wrestling at 2101. And the Game Masters as a tag team is in my Hall of Fame too. Every other year I put in a tag team. Gladiators and Game Masters are the first two. So it's what I do. One
Hey,
of
it's
these
up to
days
you,
we're gonna
promoter.
if you guys really want to grow the fan base here, I think one of these episodes is gonna have to be solely around Mike's Fed and the dichotomy of it. We're gonna need
Charts.
charts and I want like explanations for everything. Like we're just gonna lay it all out.
I did it. I did it once online on the Filsinger Games board because I had people asking me. So I put it all out there. This is how I do it. And I think the only person who like Kurt Campbell was like, "Oh, this is great," because he fought, and I think Pete Beck also did it because they follow Premier League soccer, so they understood the relegation.
Yeah, I follow
Mhm.
Premier League soccer. That's why I asked if there's a relegation and promotion period,
Yeah,
or if there's just like, oh well, they're good enough now.
did relegation. But how would you power creep the Alpha Force after he's been downgraded? How
Yeah,
would you pump him up just a touch?
it's kind of
Yeah,
hard to power creep a guy that's on his way down. Uh, he's pretty solid all around. Take away the agility check on number 6 on level 1 offense.
What's his agility at on this card?
-3. It's like
I mean, it's
it's
still pretty good.
yeah, it's pretty pointless to have that there. But yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what
it
I'll
wouldn't
do.
work. Well, think about it. His main feud though is Matador at this time,
Yeah, he was -4.
and he's a -4, so it does come into effect there.
Hmm.
That's true.
Yeah, so I'll take that off
His level 4 move on level 2 offense, that's just a 2, isn't it?
with a choice C. So it could be a 3.
Yeah, I'd bump that back up to a 3.
I just want to give him the alpha powers back.
Yeah,
Level plus
He
5.
immediately goes back up,
there
and he
you
gets
go.
the special move back.
So that's why he's standing with his hand like that. So in his first two cards, it was
He's
glowing.
like, he's showing that it's not glowing anymore.
Yeah, he has to show you. It's just a hand.
I'm just a man. He's a man's man.
He's a real. Yeah, we're gonna get in trouble with the copyright
Oh,
people.
oh no, no, no. That's enough. We do not own the rights to that music.
I think you can play it for up to 14 seconds because 15 seconds you got to pay.
Even if it's sung poorly.
Yep.
Hey,
I think you can sing it. I think you're allowed to.
Nope.
then it's original.
Are you going to show the pic or are you just?
He already showed it.
Oh,
Yeah, I showed. You want to see it again?
He showed it because he has that shaded face. That's why I asked you
oh
if
no, no.
Bob
I
knows
thought you
the
were showing the
movie.
like the old one so you can do the
Oh,
comparison. That's what I thought you were
Oh,
getting
no,
out.
I don't.
hey, I do want to point out one thing though. He has no glove on.
No, that's true.
Mhm. It's like an
Because
infinity gauntlet almost. Alpha Force.
uh, no, not much charisma, but a lot of power.
He gets by. Old Alpha Force.
What is Mike doing over
I
there?
don't know.
I'm sorry. I was looking
He
at
forgets that
our.
we're on the air.
He's like, I got this bag of milk here. I don't know what else Canadians can be handling. Maple syrup. I don't know.
No, our Mount Rushmore. It was the
Which is
somebody mentioned cart that we should do cartoons, and I was just
hmm.
looking up to see if I could find out who had said it. So I
Oh, okay.
just checking out. But
Was it Bucky? He said comic book runs, I think.
That one would be tough for me because I like spot check comic books. I don't have a run of comic books like a
yeah.
certain storyline or something.
Well, we can do comics after, but we'll do cartoons today.
Cartoons are more in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Now Brock wanted to divide his into his younger days and then his adult days.
That was Jeff.
That was me. I didn't want to do my younger
Oh,
days and adult days. I wanted to do pre-kid and post-kid because like I watched different
Nope.
cartoons once I
You got to
had the
put them all together.
kids. That's just not fair. I don't know if I can narrow it down to four. That's so
well,
tough.
technically you got five. You have your honorable mention.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's still tough. There's a lot
Okay,
of
what
cartoons, and then you got the. Am I sticking to cartoons or am I sticking to like Family Guy, Simpsons, South Park?
That's a
Like,
cartoon.
that's a cartoon. I don't know
ah,
if you understand that.
I know, but it's a whole different demographic. Like I wouldn't let my kids watch those as cartoons. Simpsons maybe it's over the years it's been washed down
Yeah.
more acceptable. But like Family Guy and South Park, I love them at some points in my life. But yeah, I wouldn't be like, hey, Jeff, what's your favorite cartoons ever? Well, let me tell you, I have a
Then
really
don't put them
messed
on
up
the list.
mind.
Yeah, I'll go first because I
All right.
normally. So my first one, hands down, would be Robotech.
Okay.
I was a huge fan of that. I watched it so many times. It was on Netflix for a while. I probably went through the series twice on Netflix. I own the DVD. My daughter got into it. She tried to get her anime club into watching it, and they were like, "No." She's like, "But you watch the storyline." She goes, the heroes do die in this, unlike her other ones. And like she was, but no, they just didn't like it. That'd be my hands down my number one. My number two would probably Simpsons would be on that list, especially like seasons probably 4 through 8, somewhere in there. The Conan O'Brien written ones.
If
Hmm.
you don't have the baseball episode in there, I cannot respect that.
It's in
I
there.
think that I don't think that was. I think it was earlier season. I think it was season 3.
And then
Yeah, season
uh,
3, episode 17. Boom. Anyway, continue.
I would put the the Justice League, the newer one.
Unlimited.
Yeah,
That was good.
I was a big fan of that one. And then my last one would be an anime one, Sword Art Online, season one. I didn't like season two, but
Hmm.
really got into it.
Sword Art Online. Huh.
Yeah,
Never heard of it, but
it's
here we
about
are.
people get sucked into a video game and live, but if they die in the video game, they die.
Hmm.
Wow.
It's on Netflix.
So sounds intense.
It
It
does.
is. What about you guys?
Rock, you want
I'll
to go?
I'll go next. I'm gonna go X-Men the animated series. It's probably my overall favorite. It's coming back for another season here in a
They're
few
gonna ruin
months.
it.
They will. Let's see. Like I got into that with the toys and everything like that. Like they did pretty good with like mainstreaming the comics for TV. Thought they did a good job with it. I don't have a theme here. I also like Batman the animated series.
That was
That was on
good.
for a while.
Hmm. I enjoyed that a lot. I want to throw Tiny Toon Adventures on there.
Nice.
And
Man,
for my last one, I'm going to go with Darkwing Duck.
man. Those are like my childhood. Like those, and the funny thing is, like I had thought about some of those, but I wasn't gonna go with them. But they were all quality cartoons. Darkwing especially. I was a big Darkwing Duck fan.
It's pretty good. And for my honorable mention, I'll put The Tick.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about an honorable mention.
Well, it's not too late to go back.
Nope, you
Yeah.
missed it.
It would probably be Transformers. I was a big Transformers fan. And when that movie came out and I watched all the Transformers I loved die in the first 5 minutes, Jesus freaking Murphy.
Man,
Still a
this
touchy
is
subject.
this is gonna be tough. I mean, I'm gonna say Scooby Doo.
Scooby-Doo's
I
good.
I still think the originals from the '60s and stuff like they're the best ones. And then the soundtracks, if you go back and listen to them, like those actual like added music they have, the
Yeah.
da 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 da
Hmm.
da 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 and that stuff,
Uh-huh.
fantastic. Um,
Still holds
I
up.
I'm gonna say GI Joe. I loved the action figures. I loved collecting them. I loved learning that they all had their own little
The file
backstories.
cards.
Yeah, I just it's stuck with me. It's the only DVD set I've bought of cartoons where I had like the whole series. Gone back and watched it. And actually, the tech that they do, like the Cobra schemes and stuff, are fantastic. Like they hold up.
Hmm. It's
Like trying to
possible.
take over the world. Yeah,
They
it's
could do
actually
it
more
today.
possible now than they used to be able to. Uh, gosh, I've watched so many cartoons. I've been a dad so long. It's hard. It really is because I have so many I love and I don't want to miss any. Because like when I was little, I would have said He Man, but I going back, I don't. It's not something I
He-Man
can
doesn't hold up.
rewatch.
That's like Ninja
No.
Turtles for me. Like I used to love the Teenage
Yeah.
Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I watch those now. I'm like, this kind of
So
sucks.
so I'm going Scooby Doo and GI Joe because I still enjoy those a lot. I'm gonna say honestly because I'm gonna fast forward and I'm gonna skip a big area. Man, like things are still coming to my head. Like I kind of want to say Doug, but anyway, I'm gonna say Phineas and Ferb because I watched it so much with the
Oh,
kids and I
That's a
absolutely
fun
love Perry
show.
the
that's a
Platypus.
solid show.
Just that show is fantastic.
Same as Kim Possible.
Um,
I was a
Kim
big fan of
Possible
Kim
was
Possible.
very
I
good.
watched it with
Yeah,
my daughter all the time.
never really watched Kim Possible much. I know it, but not
I
really
like that
watched
one.
that one much. And I mean, I have to put Simpsons on just because growing up, that was the one that I asked my mom for every year, and they used to have these VHS tapes that would have like 4 episodes on one tape, and I got like 4 different boxes of them where I had like 20 or some episodes eventually, and I would watch those like crazy. It's so hard to not include so many cartoons though.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Doug was up there. That was one of my favorites.
I love
Disney
I'm gonna
Doug or
say
Nickelodeon Doug?
Nickelodeon. Not Disney. Doug doesn't exist. Um, I know it does, but no, it doesn't. Um, they literally changed everything the first episode. If you've gone and watched it,
I haven't
um,
watched it.
yeah, it's awful. Don't. But my honorable mention, I was coming in. I wanted to go wrestling theme. I wanted to go Mucha Lucha.
There you
I
go.
don't know if you ever watched it,
I
but I
watched it,
really
but I don't really
liked it.
remember
It was Ricochet, Buena Girl, and The Flea, and it
it.
was they went to a special school that was all luchas, and they had the school of wrestling, and it was all lucha themed, and I thought that was great.
That's cool.
That's such a hard topic though. It really is because you could do it by eras. I used to watch a lot of Dragon Ball Z.
The
Gosh, there's
Pokemon
just
anime, with the first couple seasons, I was pretty into that.
Oh yeah,
there's so
I grew
much
up watching like the Lone Ranger, Tarzan, Thundar the Barbarian, Smurfs.
to not give a shout out to like Wacky Races, dude. I loved
Yeah.
Wacky Races, like Hanna Barbera, like
Hmm.
I don't know.
Muppet
But anyway,
Babies.
so we'll recap. Yeah, fantastic. We'll recap. Mine were Scooby, GI Joe, Phineas and Ferb, and Simpsons. Those would be my four.
All
Sorry,
right.
a
It's all
lot of
good.
lot of gaps there. I know.
Yeah, quickly do our shout out before our
All
time
right.
runs out here.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you haven't done so yet, please click that subscribe button. We have a lofty goal of 164 subscribers in 2024. Hit the like if you like the video. Give us a thumbs up. While you're here, scroll on down to the description. You'll find all of our friends who make Filsinger Games related content, including the official Filsinger Games podcast, Roll Up to Legends Team's Uncharted Territory, Dizzy Dice from Lee Longpree, and the Filsinger Games Fancast from Grant. Also from Grant here on YouTube, you'll find Solo Promoter, Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling, Brad Plays 81, Bucky 729. I'm on Twitch every Sunday night. So I try to be on Twitch every Sunday night at 9 p.m. More often than not, I miss it with all the stuff going on in my household, which we'll get into later. But I try. So check that out. And yeah, we'll see you all next time, everybody. Have a great time.
Good night,
See you
everyone.
later.
Later.